Welcome to our latest episode of Connecting the Dots podcast. My name is Susan McGhee. I'm the Chief Exec at Flexible Childcare Services. And with me today in the studio, I have Satwat Rehman of One Parent Families Scotland. And Satwat, thank you for joining us in the studio today. I'm looking forward to chatting with you all things One Parent Families, childcare, flexibility, lots of good things that we can talk about. In fact, we've already been sitting here talking for 10 minutes about it, haven't we? So would you like to start by just telling our listeners a little bit about you and your background and what's brought you to where you are today?
Sure thing.
Satwat?
Hi, and thank you very much for
You are very welcome.
inviting me to be part of Connecting the Dots. Well, Susan, I joined One Parent Families Scotland in 2011, in January 2011. It's probably the longest stint at any job that I've done in my life.
Must be good. You must be enjoying it.
Yeah, it's always changing and there's always something new. One Parent Family Scotland is the national organisation for single parents. We were established and founded in 1944. So we're over 80 years old. And when I've looked back at our documents in the archives for various celebrations around big birthdays for the organisation, do you know, childcare was something that came up then?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
from 1944 until now,
Wow.
childcare has been an issue.
Yeah.
It's a wicked problem, it feels like, in some ways.
It does.
Yeah, that we've been grappling with. But as well as what we've heard from parents throughout the decades that we've been working with them about the importance of childcare, it's also something that we're now beginning to hear in other places as well. I co-chaired Scotland's Just Transition Commission. Mm-hmm. We travelled around Scotland through that, talking to communities at the, on the front line of climate change, etc., and the effects of climate change. And what came up really strongly throughout that was the importance of childcare, of social care, and of us beginning to see it not just as a family service, but something that should be an integral part of the social and economic infrastructure of the country.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're constantly saying to people, childcare is not just a family issue. It's an economic and a social justice issue, isn't it?
It really, really is.
Yeah.
And so I suppose that's the lens
Yeah.
that we now apply on it. And it's a natural intersection for us to look at what more needs to happen and things like childcare, because we hear about it every day for the services we provide.
Yeah.
And it really informs our policy and systems change, the challenging of structures that keep single parents in poverty. And I think childcare is one of the clearest places that those two threads meet. The lived experience in the here and now, when we have more childcare provision than we've had in the past, but provision is patchy, access is difficult, flexibility is difficult to find, and the availability of it when people need it it still creates crisis in families when that point hits that they might get a job and think, okay, great, let me contact the after-school club. You contact the after-school club and you find out there's a 3-year waiting list for a place. So we haven't got it right yet. I think there's still a long way to go. And I would really like to see how we can work to make sure flexibility is integral to what's being developed and not an add-on or something that maybe one place might do and the others don't. But it's part and parcel of the way we design services that actually meet the needs of families in how they live, as opposed to trying to get them to fit into what's convenient for us as a service provider.
And at the moment, that's exactly what happens, isn't it? Families have to build a jigsaw around childcare, relying on friends, other family members, negotiating with their employers and all of those kind of things just to make it work. So although we know there's relatively high take-up of the 11:40 hour, certainly, around childcare, that a lot of that's only been taken up because families are building that stressful jigsaw around it for themselves, and then they drop off a cliff when their child goes to school and there's no childcare and no funding and suddenly how do you keep going to work?
Exactly. I mean, we find that so often that those transition points are real risks to stability in the family, stability of employment, stability of if you're in education or something to keep those things going. The other big pressure comes when you've got the long summer holidays.
Yeah.
You might have something that works for you and is just about affordable.
Yeah.
As your jigsaw, as you describe it,
absolutely,
during term time.
Yeah.
But then if you're looking at trying to find holiday provision
Yeah.
that's going to meet the hours that you need for children of different ages, possibly with different drop-off points,
Yep.
and you are the one parent, that's it, there's no one to share it with,
Yeah.
so you'll have to do all that before you get yourself into work in the morning,
Yeah.
and have to finish in time to do it all again at the end of the day and pick them up before the 6 p.m. cut-off happens. We've had parents who say, actually, do you know what, it's cheaper for me to give up work and then try and find another job again. But as we know, that means that single parents end up stuck in entry-level work, unable to take up further training, professional development, and therefore not being able to progress up in the workplace as others can because of the pressures of the way we design services for them.
Because the service and the model it's designed on is absolutely creating barriers, isn't it, for people? People want to go to work, want to remain in work.
Exactly.
But what an awful position to be in that reaches the summer holidays and you feel that your only option is to give up your job and start again 6 or 7 weeks later searching for a new job. I mean, that's just a dreadful situation for anybody
awful,
to be in.
Isn't it?
And even if you can just about manage through the summer, it means that rather than being a period of time where you've got memories of loads of fun and family times and freedom with your children over the summer holidays, it's just stress and pressure and running late and feeling guilty and all of those things as you try and make it work.
Yeah.
And children are missing out on opportunities through that as well, aren't
Children
they?
are missing out, but there's also the added pressure that we hear about time and again, that you can do all that. You can put together the jigsaw, you can work the maximum number of hours you're physically able to work, but you're still going to food banks. Yeah, it's so sad. All of our place-based services now within flexible childcare, we have a food larder available to parents, and by the day the delivery comes, people are waiting for the delivery. And these are parents who are working lots of hours very often, struggling to do the best they possibly can for their children, but they are reliant on that food bank. Now, some of the other things that we do, things like the children's clothing exchange and things, I don't think that matters whether it's because you need it because of financial reasons. It's better for the environment anyway. Children don't wear their clothes for long. Let's just do that. We should all do that anyway. But to be able to not be able to provide the food that you and your children need, it's just wrong, isn't it? It is. Or to create some of those memories you spoke about, because they're really important, aren't they?
So important.
Yeah, or to be able to feel that actually I can work, be able to afford the childcare, the transport, the food, etc., and still be able to save maybe a wee bit so there can be a week I'm able to take my kids away.
Yeah. Yeah, because those things, they are really important. And those are the times that children learn about developing healthy relationships and all of those things, isn't it? And they develop resilience and really the nice things that we all need that enable us to live our best lives as we continue to grow. So children who are missing those opportunities are unfortunately.
They are.
Yeah.
And it seems like there are families who have to live to work and not work to live.
Yeah.
Because all their effort and energy is going into organising lives around work.
Yeah.
And they're exhausted.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And that's the other thing. You know, it impacts on mental health and well-being of the parents and the children.
Yeah. Definitely. And you can't, with the best will in the world, you can't give the best of yourself as a parent if you are just physically and mentally exhausted.
Exactly.
And you're worried about when the next pay's coming in and all of those things. You just can't. And there's so many wonderfully good parents out there that are struggling because of the barriers that the system is putting in their way.
Absolutely. That's why, you know, we say childcare isn't just a family service. It is part of the infrastructure, socially and economically. And it's actually something where the system needs to change. And it's that systemic change that I think is critical. And we've had so many reports about it.
Oh, I know.
We've had commissions on it. We've had other commissions talking about how vital childcare is to the social and economic infrastructure. but we just haven't seen the step change.
No.
We need to. That means it's designed with and for the benefit of families.
Definitely. It feels like there's been a lot of talk, a lot of looking in,
Yes.
and then a bit of tinkering around the edges of the existing models, but not bold enough and brave enough change to really make a difference for people.
Right. That's right. And as you know, the sort of the flexibility model is something that's tried and tested.
It is.
Do you know?
Totally.
Through the work One Parent Family Scotland did, the work we did to work with you, Susan, when you came on board with Flexible Childcare Services Scotland. It was because we knew it was something families needed and would make a difference to families.
Definitely. And that was the original project, the work that you developed in Dundee, wasn't it? With Abertay in the flats in Grampian Gardens around the flexible childcare and made a huge difference to the families that were able to access
families that were able to access it. And also I must say that what really helped us was working with Lynn Hendry. From the Hunter Foundation. And it was a conversation I remember having with her when she said, Satwat, you're always telling me about how childcare is such a problem and such a barrier. How would you design it then?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was such an opportunity to be able to sit down with a blank sheet as opposed to sit down and think, oh, well, we've got 3 hours here and 2 hours there. What do we need to join it up in the middle? To have someone say no, start from scratch with it.
And Lynn's so good at that, isn't she? She's throwing a challenge at you and saying, well, hold on, if you ripped that up and started again, what would you do?
Exactly. You know, give us proof of concept.
Yeah.
Show us it works and that it's doable.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole concept of the hour by hour paying, booking only what you needed, not having to pay per session when you may not need all the sessions, etc., not have to pay for full days or for a minimum number of days. Yeah. That's where that whole, I suppose, model came from and was born. And it wasn't easy.
Oh, still not easy. It's definitely not.
It wasn't easy. It is always going to... maybe not be so competitive price-wise, but that's not the point.
No, it's not the point. It absolutely isn't, is it?
No.
And it makes such a huge difference to the families that are using it.
Absolutely.
Last year, 100% of the families using the services, and obviously it's grown now from where it was in Dundee. There's multiple services now, and there was around between 1,000 and 1,100 families that 100% of them said they were better off financially. And then the next benefit they reported was being less stressed.
See, that's remarkable.
Because of having access to flexible childcare. We're still paid the same funding rate as any other childcare provider. So it's not that it's costing more. And we've proven that it can be done sustainably if the service is the right size and you have the right relationship with the local authority, then it can work and can be sustainable. So there's really no reason for there not to be more of it and to further grow from that first start in Dundee.
Absolutely. But, you know, even the Dundee start, I mean, what you went on to do there was then to be able to create a hub.
Yes, that's
in another building and make it 0 to 12.
It is, yes, that's right. So
which is fantastic.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. And because parents can pick up their older children from the same place as their younger children, they've not got that 2 places to get to at the same time, and I can't cut myself in half nonsense to do. So,
but it also then becomes a community hub, doesn't it?
It does,
It becomes something that can form part of the community infrastructure.
Very much so,
and I think that's what we need to see childcare as. In the same way as we see schools as a vital part of any infrastructure. Childcare with flexibility built in needs to be seen in the same way.
And to be very much a part of that community, because the childcare services are located in the heart of their communities. Families are comfortable coming in and out of the services, so they're a bit more relaxed in there. And it's the opportunity for the practitioners, if they think something's going wrong, they can spot that, they can talk with the family, they can signpost to other professionals. Often now we have people co-located, so some of our services have the health visitor co-located in them, community nurse, speech therapist, and that it just, parents aren't seeing a barrier to accessing that further help either, and they're not seeing an authority figure that they're concerned about going to an official appointment with. It can just be done in nursery or aftercare, where you're comfortable and you're happy and you like to be, and the wider community support. So the Dundee service, I think, next weekend, not this weekend, is doing a Dundee Play Festival with What Matters to You. So it's open to the community for the weekend with play activities all weekend taking place. And why not? That was an asset transfer, that building.
Absolutely.
So why would we not do things like that and say the Dundee City Council, let us have this building, we raise the funds to do it up. It is an asset of this community. It's not just something that is a property that FCSS has. So it has to be used for the benefit of the community. And it's so nice to see people in using it for all of those different different things. And we just should have more of that, really, shouldn't we?
Absolutely. We should have a network of them.
We really should,
right across the country.
Definitely. Particularly in areas where families are facing the most challenges and they don't have access to services. So,
I couldn't agree more. Exactly. And the nice thing about nurseries is, just thinking back to my own experience, you're a lot more involved.
Yes.
As a parent. You walk in, people talk to you, workers and the staff there will tell you how your child's day's been, etc. You get to spend a bit of time. You can still see your child getting their stuff together, saying goodbye to friends. And as we know, that all tails off the older your child gets. Yeah. So I think a nursery is a great place to be a community hub for that reason. Because people are already comfortable going in there. They're not threatened by it.
No, they're
not.
No, definitely not. And it is nice to be able to say, we'll bring the services around you.
Absolutely.
But also just come and spend time, come and do stay and play, come and read stories, all those things. Because that valuable time parents can spend with their children when they're less pressured and stressed, it's so important. And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to give parents that time to have fun with their children, and it's often the first time that somebody other than them has looked after their child as well. So emotionally, it's a huge thing handing your baby over to somebody else to be looked after, isn't it? So,
it really is. But the other good thing I find about nurseries is that, again, I mean, I suppose it happens a wee bit in early primary as well, but in nursery you get to know other parents.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
And that's huge in terms of creating a sort of social network for you, but also that peer support.
Yes. Yeah, because often things that you're worried about, you don't want to go and ask anybody official about. But but just asking somebody else.
You can say, oh, my child's not sleeping well, and somebody else will say, oh, actually, mine went through a phase like that.
That's right,
Or mine's not at the moment, possibly because it's a bit stuffy in heart. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's possibly what mine is as well. Yeah.
And it just takes away some of the worry, doesn't it?
It takes away the worry. And it's particularly important if you're the only adult at home.
Yes.
So if you're a single parent and you're sitting with those worries at night,
and there's not somebody else to share it with.
There's not somebody else to share it with. Then it's really important to create that network of peers, but also to have those relationships with the staff.
Definitely.
In nurseries and feel comfortable being able to say, I'll never forget the time when my daughter had been in nursery about 6 weeks. So we have a little meeting to see how she's getting on, etc. And she was just under 2 years old. And we'd noticed a smell and we thought maybe she just needed a bit more support to learn how to brush her teeth properly. And when we were in the nursery, her key worker was talking about it and she said, I've noticed a bit of a smell. And we said, oh, so have we.
Yeah.
But, teeth brushing, etc. I think looking to make sure it's not something she's eating that's maybe not agreeing with her. And the nursery worker said, have you looked up her nose?
I knew that's where you were going. I've experienced this one.
Exactly. And at that point, my daughter, who hadn't said a word to us as we're trying to figure out what's going on, I went, oh, Baba put sponge up Baba nose. Sure enough, there was a piece of sponge.
Piece of sponge. Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Which the next day, she went to the hospital and it was taken care of.
Yeah, smell gone.
The smell was gone. But again, it's your first child.
You don't know.
You don't know.
And it would never occur to you that your little baby would do something like that at all, would it?
Exactly. But the nursery would work on you straight away. And it was just part of a straightforward conversation.
Yeah.
No judgment. Nothing that made you feel stigmatised in any way. Just
just really nicely
Have you thought
handled.
about
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
At which
No,
point the
that's good.
daughter decides that she's going to own
She'll
up
share it.
now
Yep.
to the fact that, she did it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So talking about the people working in nurseries then, or working around the childcare world, OPFS has created a role for childcare connectors, helping
Childcare
people to
connector.
find childcare.
That's right. That's
so
right.
tell us more.
So whilst we no longer run childcare,
Yep.
because we knew we never wanted, that wasn't what
No.
we're here for as an organisation. It's proof of concept. The issues around, as you said, that jigsaw of
Yep.
childcare and sometimes the urgency
Yes.
with which you need childcare was something that made us realise that actually what we need is a dedicated role within our family support.
Yep.
And our employability, so very much integrated in with the rest of the support. And it really is navigating childcare options and some of the hidden costs or the costs that you don't know about necessarily if you haven't used childcare before.
Yep.
Like the deposit.
Yep.
The first month up front.
First month up front, it's a hard one, isn't
it? It's a double whammy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That. And what really struck me was the case of a parent that our childcare connector had worked with in Edinburgh, and she's got 2 or 3 children. She'd gone back to university. She'd done a master's in renewable energies because that's what she really wanted to work in. She wanted to be part of the net zero revolution. Applied for jobs, heard nothing, went to a jobs fair, do you know, that I think it was Joined Up for Jobs in Glasgow, etc. Was given flyers for admin roles and thought maybe that's all what I can do. She wasn't quite sure, but then, she spoke to people who said, no, pursue your dream.
Yep.
Got an offer of a job with a company that does net zero engineering, exactly right up her street, exactly what she wanted to do. And then came the headache of finding childcare for her children and the costs of finding the childcare and being pushed from pillar to post with one place saying, no, you can't get this grant to help with your upfront costs because you already get support from Fair Start Scotland. Yeah. Them saying, no, we can't do this, go back to Job Centre Plus, etc. And she just really felt she was being pushed from pillar to post, getting no joy whatsoever. At that point, thought maybe the easiest thing to do would be to refuse the offer of the job and be able to do something where she could work part-time, maybe in a supermarket or something close by to home and not have to worry about the childcare. Our childcare connector worked with her to get a grant to help with the upfront costs of the childcare, to do the joining up of the pieces of the jigsaw and find the right match for her in terms of childcare. And she got the job, she kept the job, and she's still working in the job.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Isn't it?
So good, isn't it?
Yeah. And until we create the system that we know we need, we're going to need something to mitigate all those cliff edges that there are within childcare.
Yeah.
And we thought that should be an integral part of any family support service that we now run.
Because childcare is one of the biggest challenges lots of families face, isn't it? That they just can't find it. So to have somebody that they can turn to that says, I can help you with that. It must be such a relief to people to hear that, because like that, the lady you were talking about, people are thinking about, well, I can't take that job then.
That's right.
And yet, it's the job that she wanted, that she's got the skills for, the knowledge for, that she'll be contributing to the economy because she'll be working and paying taxes. She'll be, all the great, and setting a great example for her children as well about that whole work ethic and going after your dreams and all of those things.
Going after your dreams, your work ethic. And also it's a job that's going to lift her out of poverty and keep her out of poverty.
And help us all, the sectors that she's working in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we need to be doing more of that, because these are sectors in which we desperately need more staff and we need more women. We're not going to get the workforce we need in our journey to net zero by doing things the way we already always have.
Yeah.
That's a big message that's coming out. The size of the workforce needed is such. The only way we can deliver it is by making it more diverse and equitable.
Yeah. And that comes back again to that, doesn't it? The childcare being part of our economic infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Because when childcare's not working for families, it's also not working for employers who can't recruit the workforce they need, for communities who lose potential there, and for our national economy because people aren't working. It's so many things that are impacted because of that, isn't
Susan,
it?
if we don't have the childcare infrastructure in place where these jobs are going to be, you're not going to have people wanting to move there.
No, not at all.
And also you're going to find it more difficult to keep people there. You know, when we've been up to around Caithness and Shetland, other parts of the north of Scotland, the Western Isles, etc., they all talk about declining populations.
Yeah.
And so we need to rebuild that community, social and economic infrastructure to revitalise those communities and have people go to live and work there.
And such beautiful places.
Oh, they really are.
But creating a situation where people can't choose to go and live and work there because they haven't got access to the services that they need. And then talking about declining population, the other issue we have is the cost of childcare and the lack of childcare is putting people off having more children, isn't it? So we've got a declining birth rate.
Declining birth rate. In certain parts, we've got depopulation happening, you know, just because of the circumstances and the situation, etc. And then in other areas, you've got incredible pressures on services because of the migration to those areas, like Edinburgh's growing, for example.
Yes, absolutely,
You know, and the huge pressures on housing, on childcare, on education, etc. as a result. But we also can't just make it so that one or two parts of Scotland are sucking people and resources away from the rest of Scotland.
Not at all, no. No, you can't have part thriving at the cost of everywhere else, can you? You really can't.
Absolutely.
And always in those communities that are losing people, there are always going to be people who are still living there who need care and need services and all of those things. So if we don't have people staying there or choosing to go there, then we've got a problem.
Exactly.
And childcare might not solve all the world's ills, but it would certainly help with all of that, wouldn't it? It would make a big difference, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And, you know, it goes back to the fact that it's been spoken about time and again in Scotland, but it's never been realised, and that is the centrality of care to our economy. You know, paid and unpaid care.
Totally. Yes, because the unpaid care, again, I mean, if we didn't have that, we'd be in a real pickle, wouldn't we?
We'd be in a massive pickle. Absolutely, absolutely. And we keep talking about it. But we've never realised it. We still go back to traditional economic models and thinking, as opposed to thinking about, okay, what if we turned it on its head? And we had care at the centre of our economy. We had good quality jobs at the centre of our economy and built out from there. And then we'd have good quality jobs, parity of esteem, good terms and conditions, and security for childcare workers as well.
Yes, because that's the other thing, isn't it? I mean, there's a whole lot of talk at the moment about the expansion, and one of the first debates in Parliament was around childcare, and the need to do more of it from a younger age and all of those things. But the sector is under pressure. The 1140 expansion coming at the time it did, and COVID and all of the things around that has made it a really difficult time for the sector, and there weren't enough people in the workforce, so there's been a lot of challenges around all of that. So there are a lot of providers that are struggling to remain sustainable, and at points we've been like that at Flexible Childcare Services. So we know the reality of that, definitely. So we need that commitment and willingness and action to growth and expansion, but it needs to be done with the sector, with the families that will use it, with the communities where it will be located. So
completely.
Truly bringing in the experience of the people that know and understand how the sector works, rather than making a decision up top and dictating to everybody this is the way it's going to be, because we'll just have another failure, won't we? And we can't afford that.
We will. I mean, I had no idea if we've got anywhere near where we should be, for example, on eligible twos, let alone thinking about when we reduce the
right down
the
to 9 month old babies.
Months, how we're going to do it.
That's right. So we're certainly finding we're having more eligible twos coming in, but we know that there are still a lot that aren't using it either because they don't know about it.
That's right.
Or there's a perceived stigma about using an eligible twos place, because people say you will got that space because you're facing some kind of challenges, sort of thing, which really it's not about that. It's about making sure everybody has what they need. So it's about equity, isn't it?
It is about equity, and
so
it's
that
about
everyone can
grounding
thrive.
the argument in that, as opposed to in there's some sort of deficit in you or your family.
Definitely,
You know, this is about equalising things and levelling the playing field.
Yeah, it's like that little image you see of the people watching over the wall at the football, isn't it? And they've got all different height blocks for the different height of the people. So we all need something different to enable us to achieve the right outcomes.
We do. And the ideal would be if we finally get to justice and there is no wall there, full stop, for them to look over.
Wouldn't it just?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. But it feels like we're a long way from that at the moment, doesn't it?
But we're going to keep on fighting for it, aren't we?
Yes. And there are lots of people in the seats of power that are talking the talk, so we just need to hope now that the action follows on that, and that things actually happen in the way that we hope that they would happen, and with the right planning and timing and testing and all of the things it needs.
And also the coherence across all these policy areas.
Yes.
So that way childcare is seen as integral to all these other things, as opposed to in a silo over here, which is how planning feels.
It does feel like that, the silos really can impact. It can't, because it's all well and good. You could have a childcare service, but if there's a big employer that the childcare service doesn't match the hours that people are working, or if public transport doesn't run at the right times in the right locations for people to get to the childcare, then what's the point? You've got a childcare provider that's set up to fail because nobody can get there to use them. You've got families that can't access what they need and can't work, and you've got employers that can't recruit the people they need.
Or retain the staff they need.
So it does need to be joined up working, doesn't it?
It does.
Not just lip service to that, but actually let's work together.
And we also need to make sure then the childcare workforce is valued and remunerated in a way that doesn't make it difficult for families to lift themselves out of poverty.
That's right,
You know, because, I mean, let's face it, it's been a long, hard struggle even to get to this point, and we're not there yet, but it's been an undervalued, underpaid workforce for decades.
Very much so. And we still hear evidence of people coming to us saying about that old hair or care thing from careers advisors. Do you want to go and be a hairdresser or a beautician, or do you want to go and work with children? And it's not about that. It's such a skilled role.
Absolutely.
And the amount of thought and planning and it's becoming a more and more involved role, because there's much more family support required. So that the role of the practitioner is evolving as families' needs evolve. And we would love to be able to remunerate the teams better. And at the moment, obviously, we are a real living wage employer, and we do the differentials for qualifications and experience. And but then we look at the local authority salaries, things like, and we just can't compete.
We can't compete. We can't compete just with the salaries. We can't compete with the job security, and we can't compete with the pensions.
No.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about parity.
Yeah.
It's important for it to be recognised that irrespective of which bit of the childcare sector you're in, these should be.
Yeah, and there's a case there for a national pay scale, isn't there?
There is, isn't there? Your pay scale,
yeah.
your terms and conditions, your pension contributions, because we want to create a national workforce.
We do, and we want people to be treated fairly, and the people working in the sector are working with our youngest and often most vulnerable citizens.
Exactly.
They're working with, these children are the people who are going to be doing the work and making the decisions that decide how well we all live in our old age. So surely when they're needing care at the start of their lives, we should be looking after the people who are looking after them.
We'll be looking after us and making decisions about our social care later.
Yeah, exactly. All of those things. So there is a real need to look at that workforce piece and make sure there's fairness and respect and recognition of the work that people do. And
like I said, it's integral. We need to see the childcare sector as integral to the economy. Yeah. And therefore, in the same way as we would work towards other sectors, having the remuneration, the terms and conditions, the development opportunities, we need to be doing that.
Yeah.
For childcare
definitely
workers. And, you know, I do believe if it wasn't a predominantly female workforce, we would have done it by now.
Oh, I'm sure we would as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would have as well. Yeah, there's that thing about it's a vocation. They like working with
They
children,
like working with
and
kids. They looked after their own as
so,
well.
yeah,
Exactly.
they've got some experience.
It's the undervaluing of care.
It's very undervalued, and I actually don't even think people realise sometimes that they're undervaluing. They think they're being nice, so they've got a bit of experience. They've had children of their own,
That's right.
Okay then.
Exactly.
So,
Well, do you know, it's a wee bit more than that now. Have you seen the professional career pathway? Have you seen
that's right.
what we expect of our childcare workers?
I mean, there's so much, isn't there, about child development and next steps in learning, planning for all of that, around child protection, and their health and well-being. There are so many things involved, and so much planning and documentation to be completed and carried out. So,
and also those relationships in those early years are so important,
they absolutely
as we know, in terms of being able to address maybe some of the impacts of trauma, attachment, all those things. And you see those patterns in people later in life if they've had that good, strong early foundation, or if they haven't.
They do, yes. You can see that coming out, can't you? Definitely, And we see some fabulous examples of people who working in the sector who that empathy and attachment and that it's love, it's professional love, but they love the children that they're caring for, and the service that they provide for them. It's so important to the practitioner that they're getting it right and they're really meeting those children's needs. So it's a beautiful thing to see when it works. Too often it works on the generosity of the workforce.
That's what I was going to say.
Rather than,
You're actually exploiting people's sort of emotional commitment and their principles and their values there, aren't you?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Definitely, yeah. So lots of things that need to change in the system. Oh my goodness! But there's lots of us working towards that, aren't there? And loads of different organisations calling for change, and respected organisations, aren't there? So we're not just small lone voices on this.
No, and actually the other thing that I think is really important is that it's not the same voices. Others have joined us now. People who maybe 5-10 years ago wouldn't have seen the importance of this agenda. You're beginning to see really waking up to it. I mean, it's something that's raised across all anti-poverty organisations now, not just women's anti-poverty organisations in the same way. It's raised as part of looking at things like community wealth building, you know, because I think there's a fantastic role for the types of hubs that you've got in Dundee to be part of the community wealth building approach that we're developing in this country.
Totally, Well, I'm talking at the Social Enterprise Scotland Summit about that, actually.
Oh, excellent.
About building wealth, building community and building flourishing families. So it really is. It's such a key part of that, isn't it? So
it is. So, it's a key part of that. It's also, like I said, you know, I didn't expect it when I started in the role with the Just Transition Commission to hear about childcare as I travelled around the country as part of how we transition in an equitable way to net zero. But it came up time and again. You know, I remember being in Wick. And we had we'd always do open town hall events in the evening. And I was sat talking to some people, two of whom had grown up there, gone away to study, and then came back to work there. One who'd always intended to.
Yes.
And the other one who hadn't intended to, but did end up, after many years, living and working in Glasgow. And they were saying what made it possible for them was that they came from there, so they had community and family networks. Because otherwise they couldn't have moved back there with young children because the childcare was so difficult to organise. And they're saying if you don't have those community and family networks, they wouldn't know how somebody could make it work.
Doesn't work, yeah.
You know, so it's, and that's where you see it's integral to everything. And the more it's taking part, it's part of other people's conversations, the stronger the case becomes.
Definitely,
for the transformation that you and I have been campaigning for many years.
And it's great to hear people across different sectors and coming from a different focus, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Calling for it too. And I think you're right. I think that's what it's going to take to have people sit up and listen. So it's not just the women shouting about the hard time women are having.
Exactly.
It's
What they're
much more
saying
than
is
that.
this is costing us all.
Yes.
Yeah. And though that can be the cost of benefits to the community you're not able to realise.
Yep.
You know, people not wanting to come and live and work in areas. I mean, it's closely tied in, I know, with the affordability of housing, but that's a separate issue we can come back to some other time. Let's just fix childcare.
Let's fix childcare for now. Yeah, exactly.
You know? But yeah, it has to be the thing that actually, if I was sitting here looking for a job, I would be happy moving anywhere.
Yeah.
In Scotland.
Because I know there's a system there that works. Yeah.
That I'd be able to get the childcare service I need.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's what you need to get to.
So if you could change just one thing right now, what would be that thing, or what would be the first thing on a multitude of things?
I know. Do you know, I think one of the biggest differences we could make would be long-term sustainable levels of supply-side funding.
Okay, yeah.
Right? That's one of the things. Because, I mean, that would give the sector stability.
It would.
Which we don't have.
No, we don't.
Right? And it would give the workforce confidence that actually this is something where I can look at how I build my career.
Yeah.
Because it's being funded as a service the way schools are. It's all, you know, it's going to be there. It's going to be committed to year after year after year. And you'd be able to build a flexible childcare model as an integral part of that, knowing the supply side funding is coming through for you. And we'd begin to see childcare no longer being a cost which makes work something that keeps you in poverty.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that's the thing. The costs of working are part of the problem.
Yes.
As well as the low wages, but the costs of working are part of the problem in terms of how we reduce costs, the cost of living, the cost of services. And if we could get long-term supply-side funding in, with parity across sectors.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd be able to actually
it would make a huge difference. It really would.
Something.
Yeah. It would make such a difference.
And it would allow for coherent expansion.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Not expansion based on who is there where that's got some capacity or can carry the weight of this.
And it would let communities, organisations, employers, individuals all start to make longer term plans around that, wouldn't it? Because they'd have the surety that it would be there for them when they needed it. So people could have progression plans for their careers. And
exactly. So, So let's hope that that's one of the things we can really push as the Scottish Government looks to see how it's going to implement the next stage of its expansion over this Parliament.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Definitely going to be interesting. It absolutely is. And
but one of my big worries, and I did ask this of one of the workforce teams in the Scottish Government just before the election, it was just after it had been announced at SNP conference that this was one of the things, if they got back in, they'd look at doing. And I said, you can't get the workforce for the hours we have now.
No.
What are you going to do
about it? Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very much, don't do what you did with the start of 1140, which was, we haven't got much time. Let's just go down the school leaver route and we'll think about adult returners and others later. No, you've got to do it differently this time.
It has to be done differently. Well planned and planned in partnership with the sector, doesn't it? So, this is what we need. These are the skills. And actually looking at that broader, how the role is changing, because there is more family support involved in that and more of that rounded service with the other things coming in from the community. So the role is changing too. So really redefining some of that and then having a clear plan for how we will deliver a workforce that can succeed. So
Absolutely. So we could have our network of the equivalent of children's centres. You know, in every neighbourhood in Scotland.
Yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful? It'd be so good.
Yes, it would.
Make such a difference. It really would make a huge difference.
Exactly. It would. Because, you know, it's about creating centres within communities again, because with the erosion of so much public funding, There were very few community centres
Very
left,
few,
youth
yeah.
services left, etc. Do you know? And in order to build community understanding and community cohesion, we need places to be the heart of communities where people can come and go.
Somewhere people can go to,
Yeah.
and they know they'll be welcomed and they know they'll get what they need. So.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
That's it. Just a wee bit of money,
Easy.
thank you.
Easy. No problem at all, eh? Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Satwat. Is there anything that you've not had a chance to talk about or tell us that you wanted to get out?
I don't think so. I think we've talked about it all.
Been a
All
pleasure
that I had
talking
to
to
say. And it's really great to see how flexible childcare services is going from strength to strength. So well done, Susan, to you and the team.
Do you know that the team are so good? People are working so hard.
I bet.
Yeah, they really, really
Yeah.
are. They're doing such a great job. It's great, and really taking on board what families need and working with the families and alongside them. So it's nice to see it, and I'm being proud of what they do. So we've got more of the team now that are willing to go and talk about what they do and share it with others and building that confidence in them. So it's lovely. And it's been such a brilliant thing to be involved in and to be able to grow and come from that initial service in Dundee and that piece of concept work you've done there, and then taken that and grown it, and it's great. And we're due to open in Clackmannanshire before the end of the year as well.
Brilliant.
So another new service. So
Well done.
So it'll be
Well
exciting.
done.
So we'll be inviting you to an opening
I can't
ceremony.
wait.
So
I can't wait.